just left the Rami Resort and we're going to another branch of the Rami line of hotels in Kurum. Let's see what prospects are there for live music. Does anyone out there play live music like I do? I've been doing that for most of my adult life, coming home very late at night. I did that for so many years at 5-star hotels and all the big star hotels in my home city, and working at lots of expatriate gigs in Kololo and Muyenga, and especially Kololo, expatriate functions, to the point that many years later I couldn't sleep at night because my body had lost its rhythm of sleep from coming home so late at 1 o'clock, 12 midnight, and then rising up early. And so my body ended up losing its rhythm of sleep, and years on I had serious problems with sleeplessness. So there you go. But it's been rewarding, although it kept me away from my family, because many times I wouldn't get to see my children after school, because immediately I got home from school and just ran into the house, grabbed the guitar from under my bed and rush off, do private lessons around the city, Muyenga, Kololo, Nakasero, all those posh places, and Buziga sometimes, and at the end of the day, and from there I'd go straight on to my night gigs and come back late. If I'm lucky, the earliest I'd get home would be 11:30, about, or 11. That's if I'm lucky. And I did that for a good portion of 22 decades. The times I took a break and then went back into it again because of demand for my style. I also did that in South Africa when I had a difficult time at some point in my career. I just grabbed a piano and played at the Sun Hotel, which is the most expensive, one of the most prestigious hotels in Lesotho, and that's where I was playing live jazz music to make to keep up my skills and to make ends meet. So there you are. So it looks like this is the road that goes to Soha. Soha is a town which is about two hours drive from Muscat. It's a seaside town. I haven't been there yet, but I need to visit it soon. In my previous videos I've shown you the bits of the town of Salala, but I showed that to you in the very wee hours of the morning during the frequent rainy spouts which they have. Maybe one time I'll show you a bit of Salala town during the day. You can see the whitewashed houses in the distance. I don't know, I think that helps reflect the heat. I think these colors help to reflect heat and keep the housing cooler. Yeah. Okay. I said, you have lots of empty spaces. It's just concrete jungle in any of the near future until the world ends. It just won't happen here in Muscat. The Al Zulfa. Most of the names start with Al. Most of the family names start with Al. So you have Al Ghafri, Al Balushi, Al Suleimani, and all these Als. So that's their heritage. If I ever retired, one of the jobs I would comfortably do is be a taxi driver. I'd do that very happily because you get to meet different people, you get to see the sights. It's a wonderful job. I love traveling. I wouldn't mind doing that as a retirement job. Even if I was driving a tuk-tuk like they do in India, I still could do that as a retirement job. You don't need all the money in the world to be happy. There's a saying that money can't buy you sleep at night. Can buy you a bed, but it can't buy you sleep at night. Look at that over there. And there is news that there's going to be another city built in Oman for the poorer people. One thing you'll not find in Oman is poor people on the streets. I've never seen any beggar at the traffic lights. They have such a good system of looking after the needy in their community, so you don't find beggars on the streets. I wish other countries could learn from this. So the community pulls its resources together to look after the poor people, house them in homes, keep them off the streets, provide for them. And one of the ways they do this is during the month of Ramadan, where they give away lots of charity to the poor, clothes and donations of food supplies. But also in every mall, in many malls, you have a donation kind of casket, or in which people are always dropping money, and all this money goes to look after the poor. What a wonderful way to look after the poor. I wish some towns and cities could do that. Uganda should try doing that. India should try doing that. Let's take the beggars off the streets. If we work together, this is possible. We are on our way to Kurum. expensive cars. Got lots of these expensive cars. See a plane landing, heading for landing at the Muscat International Airport. So that means the airport is nearby. There it goes. Very clean airport, not crowded. So you're not going to be stressed out at all at the Muscat International Airport. Also have another airport in Salalah. Here's your city center, where I bought a couple of electronics from. And, this is the Matra route. Street lights, very enchanting, aren't they? Kind of remind you of England, Londonderry, or things like that. That's another town I find very enchanting. I think it's called Londonderry. Yeah, those are the kind of towns I'd like to live, where it rains every other day. Reminds me of a nursery rhyme, Londonderry. I must say you have to be very focused to drive here in Muscat, because everyone's going at a steady speed. You can't be daydreaming. You have to be So I think
لكن ترى ناصر ما صار يعني على فكرة.
the Muscat
بترول طلع من
locals are very focused because
طلع البرنامج.
to drive a car here you must really be very focused about when to switch lanes and when not to switch.
لكن 8 ريالات سمعت لا 8 ريال 8 ريال 9 ريال.
Look at those trees. Now, who would say you're in a desert?
يعني كل حد كل
Is this anything like a desert to you? Is this anything you'd call a desert? Really? Not here in Muscat. And definitely not in Salalah. And definitely not in Sohar.
أنا أقول لك البرنامج زين تشتغل فيه وقت الرواتب فقط. هذا اللي قلت لك تكس من تاريخ 23 طلع الرواتب لين تاريخ 30 بس. لليوم لا من هناك عاد 20 يوم 15 يوم تعبان. أنا شوف يوم تكس تعال وقت الرواتب.
So, as you can see, the fork up there goes to the Muscat International Airport.
هذا قايل لي امس انا شايفين قبل 15. امس دام من 15 قال لي قال لي ترى اديتني العديد قال لي خلاص.
Now we're just moving from one suburb to another. We're not moving out of town. We're just moving from one suburb to another, but look at the speeds at which the cars are moving. It's as if they're moving from one town to another, like you're moving from Kampala to Jinja or something like that. But no, we're not. We're just moving from one suburb to another. Now, does that give you a picture of how big the Muscat city is? I hope it does.
لا هنا يحوط قلنا له خلوة ما حلوة رايحة هنا حلوة يحوط
So we're moving at speeds of 100 to 120. You wouldn't do that in anywhere in a city in Kampala. I think the only place you can do that in Kampala is the route from the Kira Road police station to the Lugogo grounds. That's the only time you'd be able to move at speeds of 100 and 120. And even then you wouldn't do that for very long because that stretch just lasts about 5 minutes maybe or less.
وما يسجل.
I had to take that stretch several times, racing across from one suburb in Kampala to another, just to facilitate another private tuition lesson in music. I needed a car to do that because it's not the kind of thing you do without a car. You need to keep time. You cannot be using taxis to do that kind of thing.
عيال خالد كانوا أول يحوشوا مع عيال خالد يروحوا بيتهم ويجوا بيتنا اسمه صغير واحد ما اعرف اسمه عاد عزان من ذاك اظني ذاك صغير يشلهم تحت اليبه سفله وينزلهم العايزيه ولق عيالي مره مجنن اروحوا معه ما تطلعهم همه.
Now that is not the Taj Mahal.
يوم ابوي ينعش وامي تنعش وهايلين في البيت بيطلعوا امي طلعوا برا البيت يروحوا مع رضوان وذا اول زين هو يجي من هناك يجي يلعب مع عيال خالد عيال اخوه ويشلهم كلهم. الحين يوم انتقلوا رضوان وذا الحين ما عمل.
So every country in the Gulf has its own dialect. Many of us think that Arab is the same everywhere, but actually that's not quite the truth, because I got to find out that from my students that every Arab country has its own dialect. But one thing that really surprised me is the first time I went on Ethiopian Air and noticed that all the announcements were either in Arabic or Ethiopian, and it sounded quite Arabic. And it's then that I did some investigation and found out that the Ethiopian peoples are kind of an offspring of the Arab. They have an Arab connection. Who knows the story in the Bible about some rich man going off in his chariot and some women running after him, and maybe he took one of the women. I forget who his name was, but the story goes that's how the Ethiopian race started. Then we have the Eritreans who look quite kind of similar to the Ethiopians. So I guess you would say those Eritreans and Ethiopians that have a common ancestry have their roots in the Arab world.
هو يقسط لهم لا، لكن تعرف هم مسويين؟ هم يعطوا طلبات حال دبي 140 160 60 ريال كلها لعب. اقول لك يودي طلب مثلا حنزوه انجليز ولا شيء يشرخهم 180 عداد. لا على الحال من حبوتي الشركه بس تاخذ ذيك النسبه شويه. هناك يجي معنا ترى بالفان لون اسود ما برتقالي يومنا اسود كان. وكراسي مال المعاقين ترى كرسي واحد ينزل تحت في الارض. لا في ناس يعني معاقين يطلبوا تاكسي هو يروح لهم. غالي لكن فتح الباب 3 ريال كم.
Very relaxing drives, not stressful as you'd find in Kampala. Pretty stress-free driving over here in Muscat. Yeah, you have a Porsche right there.
أنا والله لو اتقاعد أدخل فيها الشركة عادي أخذ لي فان يوبر بس ما مشكلة دوامنا احنا.
On this side you can see some of the ranges, the Muscat ranges.
وأنا بعدني دام سفينة ما بيجي لي طلبات يبغى لك قسط.
It's a very well maintained here.
ما نكمل اسبوعين.
I've never seen a single pothole anywhere. And that means their cars have much longer life. So even if you bought a second-hand car.
Brother,
Yes?
just give me location.
Oh,
Location.
okay. Okay, I'm going to stop here because I have to find the location of where we're going. Okay, so I'll catch you on the next one. Check out my channel, Jomeri Muziai 5964.